I was on 3 of the strongest chemo meds, cisplatin, gemstone, and Brexit, right? And so when I started, he said you have cholangiocarcinoma, which is bile duct cancer, but it metastasized again to my liver. The mast cell in my liver, 3 additional tumors in my body, right? When she said, I asked her, I said, will I live? She said, no. No, I'm not saying it that. I said, Doc, will I live? She said, well, Mr. Janeau, I'm not a giver or a taker of life, but what I do is I'll do my best to prolong your life. And I said, that's all I need, let's go. So I didn't find out I had what stage, I didn't even know what stages were. That's how oblivious I was to cancer, right? So it wasn't until after my second chemo treatment, I started to keep up with the date, August the 9th. Started my first chemo treatment. I had 12 rounds, 6 cycles. That was it. She said, that's all we can do. She said, we only have 1 shot for you. And chemo is the only way, right? So after my second chemo treatment, I was in the valley. I started being in the valley. And I had hair before this, you know, so black wavy hair, but now I don't have it anymore, but thank God I'm still here. So I started my chemo treatment, and I'm looking, and I'm like, well, I go in, and a nurse practitioner told me what stage I was. I said, well, what's after, you know, after starting my second treatment, I was really in the valley. And when, you know, all my survivors and my people that's going through it now, you know what the valley means. Once you have the chemo, you feel good one day, the next day you feel like crap, all the way up until your next treatment. So I said, well, I said, what's going on? I never felt like this before. She said, well, you know, I said, well, what's after this? Once this is done, once I get through this, you gave me a target date, so what's after this? She looked at me, she said, well, because you're stage 4 and all. I said, well, what's after stage 4? She looked at the sky, I said, well, who's up here? I said, what's up there? She said, well, you know, and then my fiance looked at me, she said, it's nothing after stage 4, it's it. Well, I said, nah, I'm not accepting that. We gonna fight. So needless to say, we started fighting, we did the treatment. What I found out was I had, from August the 9th to December 15th, I had stage 4 cholangiocarcinoma. I came in and endorse stage 4. I had less than a 1% chance of survival.